Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all Chelsea fans out there around the world. We had about 10, 15 people waiting. We've got like 15 likes already, so big up to everyone that's already waiting for the stream, everyone watching the stream, and everyone watching after the stream. This is going to be a discussion video about Mason Mount. Um, many Mason Mount in fans, many people that don't really rate him. I just want to try to get a fair based opinion. Of course, these guys will give us our opinions. We're going to be having a special guest on here as well. Going to be talking about Mason Mount in depth and other Chelsea general discussions, maybe some of your questions as well, guys. So if you guys can smash the like button as it helps with this channel, subscribe, all that good stuff, hit the bell notification and tune in every single day. We are trying to stream even during the international break. I'm joined here with the co-host Matt. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm very good. Good to be back on another stream. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And listen, we've been talking about ads. Ads has been given a lot of talk in the comments about why we late for the streams and stuff. He's busy playing football. It's not even about studies anymore, guys. It's about football for him. So make sure you guys comment ads out. But here we've got Kazil as well joined again, man. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm great, bro. Yeah, man, I'm good. Everyone that's tuning in now, make sure you guys slap the like button, innit?
100%. And guys, let us know in the comments if you want Kazilla to replace ads as co-host, man.
I can't do that, bro. I can't do that. Out of respect for ads, I can't do that, man. He's been there for the trip, man.
You got to do that, man. You got to do that. All right, guys, listen, let me read some of the comments very quickly. We've got Sir Kaj, big up from Jamaica. I just want to say keep it positive today. We'll try to keep it as positive as possible. Carrot saying ads out. I agree with that. Varna, big up to you for tuning in. As always, Javier as well. Nick Toller as well. Stripwear, good to see, man. Rate him. He's a workhorse, which we'll be talking about. We've got Jamzino, David, Alvarado, Dex, Nasri, Amandas, Ryan, Ads. We've also got Messi, Matt Bull. I hope you can come on the stream one day. We've got Gamer and a few others, man. It's good to see everyone, man. And Vedant. All right, look, General, who are England playing today, guys?
San Marino. Best football team in the world.
Big game. We play them like every single year. Money Mace probably starting as well for that game. Can you captain that game, do you think? Or do we have leaders out there?
He'd probably make Dyer his captain after picking him every single game, week in, week out.
Man said Dyer. Can you imagine Dyer captain? Because what do you think, man? Mason Mount captain for England today?
Yeah, man, definitely. I think we'll just leave it all on the pitch, you know what I'm saying? All the passion and desire, you know what I'm saying? The knee slides, all of that, man. Mason Mount is captain for England. You get me? Like, the way he's going to captain Chelsea in the future, that's how we should be, bro.
To be fair, wouldn't it be Harry Maguire, on a serious note? Captain United, Solskjaer, Southgate.
Who was the last captain? Who was their last captain?
Who, United?
No, England, if you remember it.
Henderson, probably.
Oh, he's not in the squad, is he?
No, he's out. So, I assume it'll be someone like Maguire. Yeah, or if he plays Kyle Walker for some reason, he'll probably make him captain or something.
Yeah,
it's gonna be just sides. It'll be Kane.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So we've got Kane, Maguire, Dyer, probably those three in front.
Henderson, no, but he won't play.
Yeah, Henderson won't play. Look, guys, let's start from the beginning with Mason Mount. Now, I'm not talking about this season. Let's look back when he came from Derby. He came under Frank Lampard. I felt like even with injuries, he was being played in every single position. Even when injured, basically. He was playing left wing, right wing, in the midfield, number 10. He was doing everything for Frank Lampard. I was one of the guys that were calling him Lampard's son, playing him every single game and stuff. I didn't really rate him highly either at that time as well. But I do think he's done really, really well for Chelsea. I do think he deserves a bit of praise. We'll start with Matt. What do you think of his first season in a summary?
It was just one of them ones again. He was playing in multiple positions. You didn't really know what was his preferred position. In some games, he'd play very well as a number 8. Sometimes he'd play well as a number 10. Sometimes he'd play out wide and he'd be well. But in some games, he would be just pretty damn awful. And it looked like a player that at times he just looked lost. Like he looked like he was doing a job because he loves the club. He's got passion. He's a fan like us, and he'd play in goal if you asked him to, and he'd do it to the best of his ability. But in that first season, you just got the feeling that he wasn't good enough for certain roles that he was being asked to play, and fans did take it out on him a little bit. Which for me, I had a bit of sympathy, just because one, he's got the mentality if he's being told to play there and he's doing his best. So you've got other players that are in their preferred positions and playing absolutely awful, don't give a shit about the club. So we should really, in my eyes, I was always looking at them and going, well, it's actually on them. It's not on someone like Mason Mount, who's putting in, week out, their absolute best for the shirt.
Yeah, totally echo what you're saying there, Zoran. Kazilla, what do you think of his first season on the Frank Lampard?
I mean, his first season was pretty much a blur, as in like it was pretty much a write-off for like 98% of the team last season, because we really weren't expecting anything. We weren't expecting a lot of these youngsters to perform out of their boots. But one thing I can say is the fact that Mason Mount did play about around 53 games last year, which I did question a lot. Like I knew our squad wasn't really the best, but the fact that we had the youngster like Mason Mount playing in, week out, whether it be as a center attacking midfielder or an 8 or even a left winger from last season, I didn't really understand it a lot. And one thing I can say is that most of the people that wanted Mason Mount to play week in, week out under Frank Lampard were the same people that used to get angry that Jorginho played week in and week out for Fabrizio. Sorry. So that's one thing I really didn't agree with. But in when talking about his performance from last year, there was a lot of ups and downs. I remember he had quite a lot of games where he didn't play as well as he did, but then he had a couple games where he did play very well. So when it comes to youngsters like that, all you had to do is like get behind the minute. And I didn't really think he should have played a lot of games. Like Lampard ran him he ran him to the ground last year. Like 53 games for a little kid coming from Derby. It's crazy to me. And I think Lampard should have managed his minutes a lot more last year. But I think Mount done what he could. You know what I'm saying? I can't really like say bad things about a youngster in his first season coming into the Premier League, into a team which had a transfer ban, fighting for top 4. I can't really say anything. I think most of my criticisms for Mason Mount come from this season, and mostly from the start of this season, and some parts in Tuchel's reign as well. So I think from last season he done the best that he could, and I don't think there's really much any complaints from Mason Mount himself, mostly to do with Lampard.
Yeah. So can we all agree that probably Frank Lampard overplayed him in the first season?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there was good reasons as well as poor reasons for him doing it.
What was the good reasons for him to play on the wing?
Well, we didn't have players that I suppose Lampard trusted, really. I think there is a lot of players in the squad that sometimes you just can't trust. Obviously, transfer ban last year, we had arguably our best player in the last few years, Eden Hazard, on the wing go. You had who do we have on the wing last season? Pulisic came in. Obviously, it's his first season. Not just obviously Mason Mount has played in English football, so at least he's got some sort of experience. Pulisic had never played in English football, so obviously he had to be brought in slowly, and then he did have his injuries that kept him out, which meant players like Mason Mount had to come into wing. You had players like Willian and Pedro, who more focusing on Pedro, just simply probably wasn't good enough, if I'm honest, to stay there, but it's only the fact that we had the transfer ban that they had to stay. Willian did give at least more, but even then, I don't think Willian gave as much as what people give him credit for. I think on the wings, we were desperate for players, and that's why you had people like Callum Hudson-Odoi. Obviously he had the injury, so he wasn't playing. So you only had a few wingers at the start, and then when Hudson-Odoi come in, he weren't playing well. And when you've got to put someone on the team sheet, you've got to put your best players on. You can't be keep putting people on that are out of form. And that's why Lampard had to keep picking Mason Mount week in, week out, whether it was on wing, whether it was in the middle, because we just had either players out of form, players injured. It was a stressful time, and then COVID came in. It was just a whole mess that I don't think people, especially in going into Lampard, give him enough respect of being in a transfer ban and having to deal with the squad that he did and get us to a top 4. Obviously, second season, I see he's made a lot of mistakes, and that probably cost his job. But I don't see people like Arteta. I know they've got a shit board, but if Arteta had that Lampard squad, we would have got relegated. If Solskjaer had that Lampard squad, we would have been in mid-table. Easy. It was just such of a struggle for Lampard and for Mason Mount to play and come in and do a good job, and they did. I think that's why for Mount I gave him so much slack, because unlike most players, he actually gave a shit about the shirt, gave a shit about the fans, and that's what I care about.
Just very quickly, there was a part of the season where we didn't really have any wingers, but Hudson-Odoi was available, and the question was, why is he not playing? And the reason was defensive issues or something like that. I think it was.
Was it this season or last season?
Was it last season?
I mean,
we people were talking about Hudson-Odoi's defensive stuff since Sarri, so I think that's been
last season.
Yeah, but Sarri mentioned that as well, and I think it was coming into Lampard. I think he did mention it as well. Callum was, I think he was, for me last season he was struggling in attack and defense. He didn't look confident in attack, and then as a young player, you don't always, as a winger, have that defensive ability about you, knowing when to track back, especially when you're pressing. You have to learn that, and I think over time he did learn that. But he struggled in both attacking and defence. I think that's why you couldn't play Hudson-Odoi last season, realistically.
Yeah, what do you think, Kozilla, man? About?
I think it was this season. Can't lie, with Callum and Mason Mount, but a lot of my distaste for Mount per se comes from Lampard, because I don't think I really have a problem with Mason Mount as a player. I get behind him as much as I can. There might be some tweaks with him here and there when it comes to his technical ability and his footballing brain, but 85% of the hate that comes to Mason Mount is from Frank Lampard. It's not Mason Mount's fault that he gets picked week in, week out. It's not Mason Mount's fault that he gets played in various positions like centre midfield, left wing, even in the pivot. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not his fault that happens. It's not his fault that he gets played over players like Callum Hudson-Odoi, who are better natural wingers than Mason Mount himself. Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. If I was Callum and there's a player who's naturally an 8 that's playing in my position week in and week out, I'd be furious as well. So I think a lot of this hate comes by virtue of Lampard and not really Mason Mount as the player. But in terms of the reason why Mason Mount played in Callum's position when Callum should have been playing is as Matt said, the defensive actions. Mason Mount, he's one of the best in the world at pressures on the ball. Like I think the best in the season right now in the Premier League might be Højbjerg in Tottenham, and then Mason Mount's not too far behind. So Mason Mount can give you that solidity and that energy off the ball, and I think that's his best attribute. But to play Mason Mount in a left wing or a right wing role instead of natural wings like Callum Hudson-Odoi or Christian Pulisic is beyond me. Like there's not much logic into that. Even though you want to be more solidified and more aggressive off the ball, you shouldn't be playing center attacking midfielders 8s in the same position as wingers. When you have wingers on the bench who are actually fit and ready to go. So to me, it really doesn't make any sense to me why Lampard did do that and why he was contemplating to do that. So again, it's not really a Mason Mount problem; it's a Lampard problem.
Yeah, I think you summed up well. They're definitely off the ball pressure. Everything is definitely there. Shribber is quickly saying that there might be some players could be tested positive, man, and might affect the Porto game.
I think it's fake news.
It's fake news.
Great news.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that no Chelsea player tested positive. I heard there was a case in the German camp, but I don't think it's any of the Chelsea guys.
Oh, that's all right then. Before we talk about this season, Mason Mount, who can we actually compare him to in this Chelsea squad? Because initially it was a question mark whether Havertz, Mount, Barkley at the time last season, Loftus-Cheek. Who can we really compare Mason Mount to, or was any other player really?
I mean, I'd argue that the way Mason Mount plays his game, there's not really many players that you can compare him to in the Premier League, let alone the Chelsea squad. I mean, he plays, especially because he is a more of an attacking midfielder, but he doesn't play that same attacking role as a Kevin De Bruyne or a Bruno Fernandes. He's more of that hard-working workhorse. So I suppose in that respect, it's weird you would compare him more to someone like a Kante who works hard, gets the ball, but at the same time, Mason Mount's a bit more attacking than Kante in a way. But it's just hard because he has such a more of a unique workhorse game to himself that, especially in this modern era, I don't think you can compare him to many players directly at the moment.
Yeah, because what do you think, man?
I think, especially in our camp, the comparisons between Frank Lampard and Mason Mount that the Mason Mount fanboys love to do is beyond me. Like, I really don't understand it. Especially if you're comparing this young kid who already played his first season in the Premier League, and then Frank Lampard's first season in the Premier League was absolutely like crazy. I remember his GNA that year was off the chain. And if you really want to compare Mason Mount to players that we have in the club, you could say maybe a Ross Barkley, maybe a Conor Gallagher in that same mode that they produce. I wouldn't say Ruben Loftus-Cheek per se, because I think Ruben's technical ability surpasses that of Mason Mount's, and his football IQ is, I think, superior to Mason Mount. But if you want to go to like world football in a sense, like I'm seeing comments that are talking about Modric and Hazard, like, no, we gotta be serious now. I think maybe, or even Juan Mata, to me, the comparison between him and Mason Mount is absolutely out of this world. Like, I don't understand it with any part of my brain. I'd say more of a Jordan Henderson type role, because you're not really going to get the goals or the assists from Mason Mount, but what you're going to get is the energy, the pressing, maybe even the leadership from Mason Mount in the future. So I think maybe a Jordan Henderson and someone inside that type of role. I would even say maybe a Goretzka, but even Goretzka's got goals to his game. He's a lot more physically better than Mason Mount, and I think Goretzka will probably even win more trophies and whatnot in his career than Mason Mount. So that's not really a comparison to me. So I think maybe the closest you'll get is the Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson. Wow.
Right, I've just seen someone call Mason Mount a BTEC James Milner.
But
where? Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at it, it's not really. Yeah, okay. The slander's a bit. It's a bit mad. Like it's a bit crazy. But if you think about it, there's logic into that, because Mason Mount, at the end of the day, he might be a utility player for us. Like, I don't think he's the franchise player. I don't think he's going to be that same player that's going to take us to the top and where we need. I don't think he's a Callum Hudson-Odoi or a Sancho or maybe even a Kai Havertz. I don't think he's that player. But what I think he is, he might be a utility player for us, a player that might lead us to finals. He might be an influential player in the dressing room. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think Mason Mount can be that player. And to compare them more in the sense of James Milner can play left back, he can play DM, he can play as an 8. Mason Mount can play as a winger, he can play as in a pivot, he can play as an 8, he can play as a 10. So there's not. I can see where he's coming from. Like, both players are really utility players at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why this guy is trying to slag off James Milner. I think James Milner is a very key player for many of the clubs that he's played at. So I don't understand why he's trying to.
He was negative from
Milner
yesterday.
Way.
He was negative from yesterday and cussing Mason Mount heavily. I'm sure it was him for sure. Ryan, listen, man. Look, we need to calm down, bro. I always start 10-15 minutes with the gang, bro, and then you jump on, G. So I was gonna send you a link eventually, man. I'm gonna invite more people on the stream as well very shortly. So welcome, though, man. How are you? If you're here, we might be gone.
I'm all good, man.
Oh, your mic's too low, man. What?
Yo,
Yeah, it's better. It's better. How are you, man?
nah, man, I'm all good, man. It's good to be on the stream.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a long Mount discussion for sure. I don't know if you guys saw the Super Six discussion. Mount, Grealish, Madison, Foden. I don't know if you lot saw that conversation. Obviously, Nini was on there for Chelsea's Mason Mount. And apparently, a lot of the comments on there was saying that Mount's definitely the worst out of the four. I do think he's better than Madison, though. Surely, Ryan.
I think as a number 10, I think Madison is better because I feel like he's more creative and he's like a proper number 10 because he feeds Jamie Vardy a lot. But as an overall player, I'd probably edge it towards Mason Mount. As a number 10, I'd go Madison, but as an overall player, I'd probably go Mason Mount.
That's a fair point, man. That's a fair point, definitely. And obviously, Foden and Grealish are ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I think Grealish shouldn't really be in that conversation. He's like what 20. It doesn't really matter about age, but I don't think Grealish is. I think Grealish, like I know this might sound like mad or anything like that, but he kind of reminds me of like a Hazard, the way he comes through that left and he just dribbles past people. So I don't really think he's the same as Mount and Foden and Madison and stuff. So yeah, I'd say Grealish is better than him and Foden is better than him, but I think Mount and Madison is a very good debate.
Yeah. Because what do you think, man? Out of these players?
I mean, it's a difficult debate in a sense, but it's not really a difficult debate in a sense because if you want to combine all the tools necessary that you use to judge a player, if you're talking eye test, if you're talking stats, and if you're just talking about how they are as a player, then Jack Grealish is leaps and bounds above all of them. Like at the end of the day, Jack Grealish, for me, he might be a top 3 player in the Premier League, top 4 player in the Premier League this season. So Jack Grealish for me he's a franchise player at the end of the day. This is a guy that you can build your team around. You know what I'm saying? He even looks at David Beckham at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be Hollywood box office soon. So I'm a big fan of Jack Grealish. Yeah, so I think he's clearly number 1. But now you got to compare Foden, Madison.
Foden's too good, man.
And Mason Mount. If you're talking about pure footballers now, eye test only, Foden's your guy. Like Foden, he can pick up the balls in the pockets. You know what I'm saying? He can lay off a 1-2. He can trigger attacks by himself. Like Foden, he has the potential to be something. You know what I'm saying? Really, he has really the potential to be a type of player. So I think Foden, the potential is there. Like it's clearly there. But now, if you want to talk about Madison's a 10. You can rely on him for creative output. He's going to get you a goal here and there. So Madison has a use as well. But now, if you want to talk about Mount is his key, his main like attribute for Chelsea is off the ball, and we need to admit that as Chelsea fans. Like Mount's not going to get us an assist. He's not really going to get us a lot of goals. We can't rely on him for goals at the end of the day. His main attribute is off the ball, his pressures, his interceptions per 90, his dynamism, and his energy. That's what we need Mount for. So, if you're going to say that, then I think Mason Mount would be the last on the pecking order. And now the question would be, who would you rather go for? Would you rather go for a Madison, who's technically better than Mount as a footballer with a football IQ and the final ball and whatnot? Or do you go for a Foden, who has leaps and bounds, who like arguably can be literally one of the best players that England have ever had? So I think now I'd go Madison and then Foden, but I think Foden has the potential to trump all of these guys in the future.
I think Foden's better than Madison, you know. I don't know. I feel like I don't think Foden is leaps and bounds ahead of him, but there's something about like Foden, the way he can just pick up the ball. I feel like Madison is a great creator and he creates really well for Vardy, and he's a very good number 10, but Foden, the guy plays left wing, right wing, false nine, cam, and the way if you watch that Liverpool game 4-1, the way he just glides past people, he creates, he can shoot, he can assist. Like there's just something about Foden, yeah. He's just got that X factor, man. I think it's Grealish, Foden, and then it's between Maddison and Mount in it, and that's a good debate to be had.
Matt, what do you think, man?
Well, I'll agree with everyone in terms of the fact that Grealish, as much of a pansy he is, and I hate him, and he's the worst thing. He's exactly what's wrong with modern football and the way he dives out like a little pussy. But he is a fantastic footballer and trumps all three of the other players. As Kazilla said, in a different level. In terms of who's next, I probably would say Foden as well. But I do put the caveat that being in that Manchester City team, it is nicer for him to be able to express himself and do the things that he does. I think if Foden was in a Leicester City, Foden was in an Aston Villa, a Chelsea, he wouldn't look anywhere near as good, which is not a problem on the player. I think he will become a really good player, but having all the attacking talent around him gives him the chance to be the very best that he is. And then between
Matt, you got to look at it the other way as well. As like he could look out of place in that City team because there's so many good players, and for like when Foden isn't playing in that, like against Man United, Foden wasn't playing. It was Jesus, and a lot of people were shocked. So for someone that young to what's it called? For people to raise an eyebrow when he's not in that City team, I think, yes, I get it. Like, if you're in a better team, obviously you look better. But there's some players who, if you're in a better team, they can kind of look out of place, and Foden just doesn't look one bit out of place.
Yeah, because I think Pep's done really well into slowly bringing him in. And I think this season, he's allowed him to not feel out of place. And he's played his games, started up slow, and then he has brought that in, which is fair play to the player. He's put himself into that bracket. But I just feel if you started him off like how Mount was in a transfer ban at Chelsea, I don't think he would have done as good as he is doing now. But I'm not taking that away from Foden. I think he's, again, probably by far the second best out of Mount and Maddison. And if I'm honest, I think Mount's third. I think as good as Maddison can be, I think he's quite overrated. He doesn't turn up enough in the big games when it counts for Leicester. And even you look at the Leicester team right now, Maddison's injured. And if anything, Leicester are actually playing better football than what they were when he was in the team. I think, for me, he doesn't do enough. We talk about Mount, he's better off the ball and that's his best part of the game. But sometimes you need a player like that. It's all right having a creative player like Maddison, but if he's not going to run around and do the bits as well on top, then sometimes you do struggle. And I think there's been times when Maddison has not played good enough and has been very inconsistent. And I think you can't, for me, that's why I put Mount above Maddison at the moment. Obviously, Mount could come out of form, not play well, become inconsistent, and then Maddison probably tops him. But at the moment, I think with the consistency the Mount puts in, week out, that's why I put him above Maddison.
Just quickly as well, why doesn't Mount get more credit for doing the other side of the work as well? Because I feel like Grealish, Maddison, Foden, they all have more freedom than Mount in a way, because Mount defends a lot more, as we talk about off the ball, energy, everything. When we talk about overall play, not just attacking phase, wouldn't you give Mount more credit for him to be a bit higher rated?
I think a lot of people give him. Yeah, you can
go. Right?
No, it's calm.
Yeah, I just bounce on that point as well. It's like, if it's so easy to do the off the ball and attacking rate, like people have said before on Twitter, then why don't the Mount, the Grealish, the Fodens, everyone else do it? Why is it only a certain number of players that can actually do that hard work and off the ball play really well from a young age? I think it's so lazy just to say, oh, he only does off the ball stuff and make it seem like it's the easiest thing to do. Because no, actually, if you look at it, there's more players that can do the technical stuff than there is to people who actually do the hard work off the ball stuff. Because that is in another way, it is intelligence of the game, but it's not in a technical way. It's intelligence of the game, how to know where players are going to play, where they're going to be in the right positions. And Mount does know that. He's known that from an early age. I think it's a credit to him. If he can get his technical ability up, he would be a very good player, a very good all-round midfielder. But people just don't realise that at the moment.
Yeah.
I think Mount, you see, from us Chelsea fans, I think what's it called? I think he gets the plaudits from us because we always speak about his work rate and stuff, and I don't think Mount's bad technically or anything. I think he's good technically, and for me, Mount is like he's a jack of all trades, but what's it called, master of none. Obviously, his best attribute is his off the ball work and stuff, but I feel like he's got a good level of a shot in him. He takes it. He's got decent set pieces as well. We've seen him have some good free kicks, good from like corners and stuff. He's bagged a couple penalties and stuff. He's got a bit of dribbling about him, not like Grealish or anything like that, but he's got a bit of decent dribbling about him as well. He can link the play well as well. He can fit into different systems because he's got the pace on the counter attack, and he can he can defend as well. And if you want to keep the ball, he's decent at that as well. So when people say Mount hasn't got good technical ability, kind of disagree. I think he's got decent technical ability, and he's just all around pretty solid in every aspect. You get me? But I think he gets the ratings from us about his off the ball work, and stuff like that. And I think, but some people, I think, what's it called? Because Grealish, Maddison, and Foden have so much quality on the ball, I don't know. I think people do give him out plaudits though.
Yeah, because what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think, like, as Chelsea fans, we need to understand that Mason Mount, what he's gonna give us, like his main attribute, I've said this like 25 times in the stream, is his off the ball movement. Like, say for example, I'm gonna give you an analogy. So in basketball, there's a position, not a position, but like there's something that you call 3-and-D. So basically, a player comes off the bench or they play, and they're in the team to defend and shoot threes. I think Mason Mount is a 3-and-D type of guy. If you think about it, like in basketball, you're not going to say a player like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or like Klay Thompson is better than LeBron James. So what I'm saying is basically a player that, what you're saying, an attacking player with their main attributes can't be their defensive and off the ball movement. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I put Mount last in the pecking order, because all of these guys above him, even Maddison, and then, well, let me just respond to Javi. Not really six man, because if you're talking about a 3-and-D type of guy, Klay Thompson's a 3-and-D type of guy, or Van Fleet, and they both play, so it's not really sixth man. But I think with Mount, right? Like, I think if you're talking about the England conversation, like, I think these players are just bounds like more talented than Mount at this point, because I think Maddison can give you that assist that Mason Mount really can't give you as much. You can't really rely on Mason Mount for assist or like lights out output from a creative point of view. And if you're talking about goals, Grealish is going to get you a lot of goals, but I don't think Mount's going to get you that either. And then if you're talking about the complete package where you're going to get goals and assists and a lot more dynamism, you take a player 1v1 and whatnot, you're not going to get that from Mount the same way Foden's going to give you. So I think Chelsea fans need to put their tribal hat down and need to start thinking about this in a more logical point of view. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to football nowadays, there's a lot more tribalism. You can't think of stuff objectively at the end of the day. It's like, I can't really cuss Mason Mount because he's a Chelsea player, blah, blah, blah. Like, even this guy in the chat, he's saying, the disrespect on Mount's name. Like, bro, like, with all due respect, go put, like, your dummy away, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, stop crying, fam. So, you got to think of this objectively at the end of the day and less tribalism.
Yeah, look, I just want to point out very quickly that you don't have to agree with everyone's opinions, and what we're here for is to have as many different opinions as possible, because we don't want to be having the same biased ones. I don't think we're all disrespecting Mason Mount. I do rate him highly. I do actually put him ahead of Madison as well. So I think if you're crying about Mason Mount being disrespected over objective comments, then boy, if the stream's not for you, please leave, man. I don't think you should be here talking nonsense in the comments, my friend. So learn to take opinions definitely from different people, man. Matt, Ryan, you got anything else to add on the four conversation?
Oh, Mason Mount. No, not much. I think the debate. I think Grealish. I think everyone can agree that Grealish is better than all three. And then I think it's Foden, and I think it's a conversation between Madison and Mount. And I think the reason the conversation comes in, because if you're just speaking number 10s, then I think Madison is better than Mason Mount, because I feel like Mason Mount is more of an 8, not a 10. But I think if it's just all round player, I think there's more of a discussion to be had.
Yeah, no, definitely. Matt, anything else to add?
No, not really. I think people have their opinions on Mason Mount. I think it's one of the many agendas in Chelsea Football Club that creates a lot of divide in fans and creates a lot of arguments. Personally, I think he's a good player. Currently, he fits in the squad. He's good enough for the squad, good enough for the first team, but he does have these things he needs to improve on, and he needs to continue to improve to stay in the squad in the future. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. Just before we talk about this season, very quickly, Kazilla, is Mount better than Pogba?
What kind of question is that?
That reminds me of
whoever said that needs to go to bed, man. Like,
we're joking. Listen, guys. I think it's a perfect timing. We were going to talk about this season, and of course, we've got Johnny here. How are you, bro?
Yeah, bro. How you doing? I'm good. How's everyone?
I'm good, man. Monster stream must have been going on for time, bro.
Yeah. Energy, bro.
Was there a lot of arguments about Mount?
Not really. It was more about Lampard. I was Lampard in from day one all the way through, and I get the sacking and everything. It's just when I hear the slander on Lampard, I can't accept it. I have to go on the Lampard defense team, and it just got mad heated, and it was good, man. It was good. Like everyone laid down their opinions. Put it that way. Yeah.
Listen. I know when you go on Monster streams and everyone else's streams, people try to trigger you about Mount, and then maybe overrate him a little bit. But look, me, Sadiq, Matt, and Kazilla, and all calm guys and that. So let's keep it very. What's it called? How do you say it? Flipping. I ain't got the facilities for that, but let's keep it.
Cordial.
Huh?
Look, Johnny, we were just talking about
the word diplomatic is what you're looking for.
I mean, like no one's gonna trigger in it, so just try to keep it as what's it called, as calm as you can. You get me?
Yeah,
definitely. We were just speaking about out of the best four, man. I don't know if you saw the Super Six talk. Mount, Madison, Grealish, and Foden. What's your order, man? What's your order?
What, as in who I'd take for England, or who's top of the list? Is that what the
top of the list? Because I had Mount ahead of Madison only, personally.
I mean, I'm always asked this question. Always.
Oh, you've been answering this already.
Well, yeah, it always comes up, and my answer to it is this: when I look at Grealish and I look at Foden, I can see Mason Mount playing in the same team as them. So for me, it's not really why would I compare those players, because they could play together in the same team. If you look at Madison, I could arguably say Madison or Mount, and I'd have Mount all day long over Madison. they're not actually that far apart with stats this season, and Mount is more durable, more versatile than Maddison. So I definitely have him over Maddison. So that wipes him out of the debate. I think as far as Grealish he's 3 years older. He's a very, very different type of player for me to Mount. So
Yeah.
I don't really like. He's a wonderful player, Grealish. Like, let's have it right. He's a top player, and I'd have him in my team. I'd have him at Chelsea if we could get him. I think most top 4, top 5 teams would. But I think if you ask me if a player like Grealish, Foden, and Maddison could play in Chelsea's team last year and this year and do what Mount has done at his age, I don't think they have what it takes to do it. Their stats might be great. Foden's stats are great this year, especially, but look at the team he's playing in. Look at the plays he's playing with. The structure that Pep Guardiola's got that team playing for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. He's been eased in very nicely. Mount hasn't had that. I mean, Mount was thrown in to Chelsea Football Club last year with Frank Lampard, and arguably an inexperienced manager from Championship level, and playing with a lot of other youth players, and to have the sort of expectations to hit top 4 was quite unreasonable. I didn't expect it. So if you put Grealish into that, who's playing for Aston Villa, let's be real, what sort of team they are. They're nothing like on the level of Chelsea Football Club. You put Foden into Chelsea Football Club, he might be a very talented player, but is he a player that you can sort of trust to do the work that Mount does? The other side of the game, other side of the aesthetic game, the pressing, the dirty work, the tackling.
Are we saying the other guys have a lot more freedom at their clubs?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I would say.
That could be the
Johnny,
difference.
do you think that's because of what's it called? Quality? Because I'm not saying Mount doesn't have quality, but when you think about Foden, you want him in what's it called? You want him in the dangerous areas. You want Maddison in the dangerous areas. You want what's his name, Grealish, in them dangerous areas because they are like they've got a lot of quality on the ball, and I don't think they do have the same work rate as Mason Mount. Do you think? Obviously, I'm just asking this question. It's not my opinion. Do you think Mason Mount has to do all the dog work and all the dirty work and all the other side of the game because maybe he hasn't really got the X factor quality that maybe a Grealish or a Foden does?
He's got that X factor, but he's still learning his trade as well. You've got to respect that he's only just turned 22 in January, turned 22, and he's had to fight for his place, especially at Chelsea. Last year, yeah, you thought, okay, Mount's in the side, he's going to get his opportunity, but he took his opportunity, and he had a lot of games under his belt. He's come into this season with the signings of Kai Havertz and all the rest. We know who we bought. Still fighting for his place, still cementing his place. Even under Tuchel, he's doing it. Now, I think if you give Mount the freedom like last season, where he was pushed up slightly higher. He was very good. You know, he did get quite a few assists. He got goals, and some important goals, you could argue. But I think with Foden and Grealish, they do have more of a free role. I think they're pushed right up the pitch, and for me, Mount is more of a kind of a 6 and an 8. He's kind of a Lampard-esque where you run into the box and he's there at the right time. He progresses the ball from midfield to attack. But he's an all-round player. He's got a lot of all-round game. And I feel like Foden, Maddison and Grealish, they don't have the all-round game. They're not like if you ask Gareth Southgate, he would have Mount in that side regardless. because of what he gives to the whole team. Because Mount's a team player. I'm not saying Foden and Grealish aren't, but they're slightly luxury type players. So you're sort of, you are relying on them to offer you that flair and that final third quality. But Mount's got the final third quality. I think we just haven't seen it this year because our final third's been so poor in actually executing. If they executed well, then I think Mount would have a lot more assists under his belt this season, and we wouldn't be talking as bad about his final third game. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
He has been robbed of a lot of assists, to be fair.
Yeah. But Foden, for me, he's playing with like De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Aguero's when he's back. I mean, these are all players that are all fantastic players with their movement in the final third. It's much easier for Foden to just slot in and do work on his game and focus on his game and work for the team.
But Johnny, do you not think, like I said this to Matt earlier, that because there's so many great players, there's world-class players in that City team, that if Foden doesn't step up, he could look a little bit out of place, and he doesn't really, ever look out of place in that City team because he stepped up to it, and I feel like he's got the quality. Do you look at it that way, or do you just think it's a case of he's got better players, so he's performing better? Because I think it helps if you got better players, but sometimes if you do have a lot of good players around you, you could you could drown into that, and you could look a little bit out of place.
Well, let's have it right. If you're training with top class internationals, it's better for you. You're training at a higher level regardless, and then when you're in actual games, you are playing at a high level with these players, so you have to up your game. But the thing with Foden is he's not really been loaned out. He's been eased in with Pep. He's learning his trade from like the likes of David Silva and De Bruyne, you could arguably say. And only since David Silva sort of filtered out has Foden had the opportunity to be put in. But he's still not fully trusted by Pep, if you ask me. I know he's had a lot more games this season, but it's still not like Pep's going to play him every single game. And that's the difference with Mount. Mount is more like you trust Mount to play every single game, and he will give you everything for every single game. He might have an off game. He's had a couple of off games, I'm not going to lie, but generally he's a solid 6-7 in every game. Grealish and Maddison's injury prone. I mean, he's injured every season. Mount isn't injury prone. He's very durable. And like I said, he works for the team, but he gets you those free kicks. He gets you goals from outside the box. We also play a different way to City. I mean, City is hard to compare to City. The way I like to explain it is, if you put Foden into Chelsea's team and you took Mount and put Mount into City's team, you'll find that Mount will get a lot more goals and a lot more assists. Whether he plays every game, I don't know. But I think you got to respect that the way they play in their final third is devastating compared to the way Chelsea are this season. Now, if you put Foden in Chelsea's side, I'm not so sure. I think we'd be too lightweight, if that's fair to say.
Let's get Kazila's point quickly. Kazila, what do you make of it?
Go for it.
Let me just start off by saying respect, Johnny. Do you know what I'm saying? What you're doing is very difficult, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I've always said Chelsea, Mason Mount's Chelsea's like most divisive player. Like there's people like in our fan base, we can't really we can't get like a middle point. You know what I'm saying? It's always one side of the coin or the other side of the coin. You know what I'm saying? So I think Mason Mount's been good this year, and he does deserve some sort of plaudits and some respect for what he's done. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously, like, you got to take all of this with a pinch of salt. Do you know what I'm saying? A grain of salt and whatnot, as per se, because with our fan base, we were really tribalist, and like some people in our fan base can't really take like some sort of objective criticism, and they'll take it as like a personal attack towards Mount, and they'll feel the need to get behind Mount in every argument, every debate, without being objective. So but yeah, I just want to come to the point where Johnny was saying Foden is looking good because of the City team. If that was the case, then why is Bukayo Saka doing so well at Arsenal? Like these two players are really like on the same level if you want to look at it. But you've got Bukayo Saka who Arsenal are literally relying on for the goals and assists and the creative output. But when it comes to Phil Foden, he's in that team because City are doing well and whatnot. His numbers are looking amazing because of City. He's playing well because of that team. Do you know what I'm saying? So I disagree with that point because I think if we had Phil Foden playing in Mount's position, we'd be thriving right now. And with Mount, yeah, I've always said this. I think Mount's like his primary attribute is his off the ball movement, and as an attacking eight, as per se, that really can't be your best attribute in a sense because it doesn't really make any sense. Like for me, if you're an attacking player, more box to box, like people want to compare him to Lampard and whatnot, how can your primary attribute be your off the ball stuff in a sense? Do you know what I'm saying? So
Lampard's off the ball work was incredible. You have to respect that, and his timing of when he runs into the box, when he makes the runs. Those are things that you only get through experience, and obviously you're talented in order to think like that. Now, when you say Foden would make us excel in our team, I don't think he would. I think he would be a good addition, but if you're solely going to rely on Foden with all the injuries and the lack of final third that we actual end product that we've got, I don't see Foden offering us that kind of that grit that we need. Because we need grit. We'd be too lightweight in the middle for me. I don't see Foden as a 6 or an 8, to be honest with you. I think he's better higher up the pitch, like Grealish is. I think he's more dangerous there because of his technical ability and he's got a lovely little pass on him. And obviously he's been trained by arguably one of the best, if not the best, managers in the world. In the style of play suits him.
Let's quickly get Matt. Sorry, because I'm trying to get everyone involved very quickly.
Yeah, sorry man.
Matt.
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I probably agree out of the panel, probably Johnny the most. I think he's made quite a few good points. I'm just amazed by just some of the comments, if I'm honest. This Mark Mahoney is saying about how Mount's corners taken are terrible. I'm like, surely all these Mount haters have been talking about how all his goals and assists have been coming from them corners. So I don't get how he can have all his goals and assists coming from corners and then only getting 8 out of 100 corners past the first man. Doesn't really make sense. He's also said that McGoldrick would play in our front three and do a better job than Money Mace.
On my channel,
that is disgusting. I mean,
you only do a better job in training.
That's just trolling, man. Don't take that into consideration, Matt. Seriously, man.
I've seen Mark is probably number one Mount agenda for me. I gotta give it to him. The guy is consistent, just against Mount.
Give a bit of facts about it. My dad's an Ipswich Town supporter, so that's where McGoldrick originally came from. And I've probably seen McGoldrick probably a much more longer than that Mark has. And he runs around like he shits himself. He doesn't work on the ball and he scores a bunch of tap-ins. He would not do a better job than Mason Mount in this team. And to say that he is just, yeah, it's troll. So I'm going to give him his little limelight just for that second. But yeah, he's chatting shit. It's just as usual. The genders on this fan base is disgusting.
So you agree with Johnny majority?
Yeah, I think there's some things that Johnny's, I'd say a little bit over egging a little bit, but the general point that Johnny's going on about, I think I agree a lot. And I think it is all about Mount he's got a good base, he's got his good foundation now of what his ability is right now. It's all about how he can develop in these next 2 to 3 years. Can he develop on his technical side and become more like Grealish, Foden, etc.? I don't think he's ever going to hit the heights of a Grealish in terms of his technical ability, but if he can get to a point where he's a little bit lower, but he's got that off the ball work that he's got now, overall he becomes much a better player than Grealish, because it is not all about the technical ability. It's about your all-round game. And if Mason Mount can get to that stage where he's off the ball work is as high as it is, and his technical ability is not as good as Grealish, but just a little bit less, he can become that player that every team would want in his team, because he doesn't just create the goals and assists, but he creates the off the ball stuff as well, which, as I've said, not many attacking midfielders do it in the game anymore.
Well, you've
Bro,
seen,
I
right?
completely
You've
disagree.
seen moments in games where he literally flicked the ball over in midfield over the player and went for a Southampton game. He nutmegged and got through 2 players, or he won the penalty in the penalty. He's got it in him. It's just that because he's been played out of position so many times this season, because he's so versatile, and that's credit to Mount. Because he's so versatile, and he's been played. It's very hard for such a player at such a young age with high expectations from a club like Chelsea in high intensity games and high pressure and changing managers within the season to keep focus on, all right, I've been asked to do this job, but I've got this in my game and I've got this in my game, but I've got to show all of this in my game while I'm playing this position. It's very hard to do. That will take time. And I think people don't. You've got to respect that Foden and Grealish don't get played out of position. Like Mount's been played in the last game against Sheffield United. In the second half, he was played as a cam, as a 9, and as a 6, all in one half, and in quick succession, with 8 changes to that whole team from Champions League football midweek. Now, that's credit to Mount, and he was made captain on top of that. Yeah, I mean, there's not many players at 22 that can deal with that.
No, but bro, I completely disagree with that point, because if you want to talk about Matt's point in particular about how Mason Mount has the potential to be on Grealish or above Foden and whatnot, we've discussed this before in the stream. Like, Mount is in that mode of being a utility player, in that Henderson mode, in that Milner role. He's not going to be your star player that's going to take you up a notch, in the sense that Foden has the potential to be, or Grealish is now. So we need to come to that. We need to understand that point, that Mason Mount he's a box to box 8, but he's being deployed as a 10 solely because of his work rate. He's playing the attacking 10 role over players like Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic because of his work rate. It's not because of his footballing ability.
I think Mount. We'll have to see with Foden, but for me, Mount. Imagine, I've got a feeling he's going to be made captain of England tonight. I'm not sure if he is. He'll be Chelsea captain, and I think that's quite a high ceiling there, right there. Just that in itself.
Why was he made Chelsea captain though? Why was he made Chelsea captain? I genuinely don't understand why.
What do you mean why?
Why was he made Chelsea captain when there's players in that team who've clearly won more than him, who are clearly more experienced than him? To give a young kid the armband at such a young age just screams Lampard to me. It's not really a club decision.
Tuchel did it. Because Tuchel
I would have gave it to Cole.
No. It wasn't. No, Tuchel. Like, as a manager coming in, you can't really change the hierarchy of how the captains are made. So I think Mason Mount was given the armband by Lampard, and then he's in that pecking order. So Tuchel can't do much more about that.
It's clear as day, because Thiago Silva won't get past next season. All right. Azpiliecueta, Jorginho may not even be with us. We don't know. We don't know what the future holds for Jorginho, because he's vice captain. All right. So if Azpiliecueta's not playing, you've got Thiago's playing. Thiago's the captain. Thiago's not been playing, so Azpi's playing, so he's the captain. Azpi's not getting any younger, and he's going to filter out probably within the next 2 years. He's not going to play as many games.
What about
and if
Rudiger?
Jorginho's not there, and Thiago's not there, Mount is by far the best candidate for being captain.
I completely disagree. Completely, wholeheartedly disagree, bro.
Why though?
He's not a captain like that. He's not a commanding presence. He's not.
Have you watched
I've watched him, bro. We're all Chelsea fans. I can't really say that right now because we all watch Mason Mount.
I've watched him a lot, and he's a very very vocal, very high mentality player. He's a winner mentality player. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, bruv. He wears the badge like it's tattooed on him since birth. There's no other player that comes into Chelsea Football Club paying 80 million to Havertz, Giroud, Jorginho's. They're not DNA like that. They're not a John Terry.
No. This DNA thing is BS because, bro, this kid supported Portsmouth growing up. He supported Portsmouth growing up, bro. What do you mean coming from the birth?
So what?
He came from academy at 6 years old.
No, that's not BS. I'll tell you why. He's been at Chelsea Football Club since he's 6 years old, mate. 6 years old. That's all he knows. He was told at 16, you're never going to play for Chelsea. You won't make it to play at Chelsea first team. And he said, no, I'm going to make it. And look where he is. All right. He went to Vitesse, was Player of the Year. He went to Derby. He's one of the best players for Derby. Almost got him promoted. All right. Was part of that team. He came to Chelsea, losing Hazard on a transfer ban, stepped it up. All right. And he's 20 years old, going 21. He's now into this season. You bought Kai Havertz, Werner, Ziyech's, all these top world-class signings, right? And he's still at the club. And he's been made captain by 2 different managers. And he might be captain for England. And he's picked by Gareth Southgate England. What are you not seeing, bruv? To make him worthy of being a captain and a leader in a team.
I think Tony Rudiger and Kovacic have shout.
No, man.
Kazuma as well. Look how much Kazuma's won.
I wouldn't say Zuma, but I'd say Rudiger and Kovacic have got shouts. I think Rudiger's got good leadership abilities, and even since 2018-19,
and when Rudiger
I saw his leadership abilities there, and people are writing him off because of the last.
When Rudiger makes an own goal and a mistake like he does many times, and he's your captain, how does that look? It doesn't look good, does it?
That's confidence, bro. That's confidence.
Bullshit. It's not confidence.
Bro, you're talking about Mason Mount, who was 10 out of 10 last season. Come on now. I remember a game against Everton, he had a howler and he still played in the game.
If you cannot see that Mount is a captain material, I don't know what to say to you, man. I don't know what to say. There's nothing for me to say to you. If you genuinely don't think that, then cool, man. But I'm telling you now, the guy's going to be Chelsea captain, regardless what you think, what your opinion is. You're going to have to get used to it because you're made captain because you deserve to be made captain because you got the minerals to be a captain. John Terry was made captain. He's come from our academy. We haven't had a player since John Terry like that. And Mason Mount is that player, bruv. And that's all I've got to say. I mean, there's nothing for me to say. You can say what you want to say. You've got your opinion. Fair play to you, mate. But I don't know what you're seeing, man. I really don't.
I don't know, Mount, I feel like for 1 or 2 games being captain is so nice and all nice PR.
It was a good story when Lampard made him captain.
Bro, that's why going forward, until he's a bit older, I don't know, I feel like for now, obviously he won't be captain because you got SP, Jorginho and Thiago Silva. But I don't know, like with Mason Mount, I feel like if Rudiger and Kovacic stay, especially the way Rudiger's been
Chelsea
playing
through and through. They're just signings, Rayan.
Don't start.
Listen, because I get this all the time. If you do not look, your own legends, John Terry, Chelsea legend, Lampard, Chelsea legend, both have come out and said he's Chelsea future captain, England captain. They both come and said it, and they are the absolute epitome brand of Chelsea Football Club. They are Chelsea
Johnny, just very quickly.
Go for
just quickly. Ryan, quickly. Don't you think it's a bit early for Mason Mount to be captain?
But I never said he'll get it now, Sadiq. I said
that's what I'm asking. Is it early? Is it early?
No, he's going to get it bit by bit at the minute. He's going to get it bit by bit because certain players are not on the pitch and they're not playing. But the ranking goes like this: Azpiliecueta, Thiago Silva, whoever of those 2 are playing, are captain. All right. Then it will go Jorginho, and then it's Mount. Okay. That's the ranking order.
I think it should be Rudiger, Kovacic.
No, bro, it's not though. What do you not understand? They're not captain quality. Kovacic is not a captain quality player.
I don't think Kovacic.
Because Mason Mount runs his socks off, and he was at the academy from 6. And supported Pompey when he was younger. He should be Chelsea captain.
Bruv, you're just here to
what do you mean, Kovacic? I feel like Kovacic's overall player.
I've just given you how many examples, and you're still saying the same thing. We'll go round all day, roundabout, magic roundabout. I can't be asked for it. I've just explained to you, man. How many times I've explained to you?
I'm talking about this point in time. I'm not questioning in the future because it probably will happen. But in this point in time, we've got more experienced players.
2 years, I've told you, Azpiliecueta in 2 years' time is going to filter out. Thiago Silva's not going to be there past next season. So forget Thiago Silva. Jorginho might even go back to Napoli when Sarri goes back, and we get another player that Tuchel wants in that position. All right? So he's gone. So you're only left with Mount.
I mean, in terms of just injecting onto the Rudiger bit, I think consider that he did when times were getting tough, considered a move to go to Tottenham. Mason Mount would never consider going to Tottenham. That
It's not
on its
about that, though.
own,
It's
No,
about
no,
the
no,
leadership.
no,
but
wait.
Rudiger said
No,
no
wait.
Tottenham.
He
Rudiger
said
said
no.
Tottenham.
And it was
he
because of
considered it.
Lampard.
That was bad enough.
Lampard
And he
would have destroyed this club from the
Guys,
bottom up,
you
bro.
guys bringing up Rudiger and Kovacic. I can't like
No,
the
I'm not
logic behind
Kovacic.
that, bro.
No,
I'm not
definitely
Kovacic,
Rudiger,
bro.
definitely.
I do
I'm not
think-
Kovacic.
I do
it's
think
madness.
Mason Mount will become captain. I don't think it will be as quick as 2 years, but I do agree with Johnny that it will happen at some point. Maybe it might be 4, 5, maybe Tuchel will bring his own man.
What do you say if Southgate makes Mount captain tonight?
Bro,
What are you going to
Southgate, you
say?
have to take everything with a pinch of salt.
No,
when
no,
it
no.
comes-
Who
no
cares
pinch
about
of
Gareth
salt.
Southgate,
no,
bro?
No. If he gives him the captaincy, what does that tell you, man? What does that
It's
tell
Gareth
you?
Southgate,
Bro,
innit,
Southgate is
bro?
a bum. Who cares about
But
Gareth
would
Southgate?
he get it in front of Kane and that? Kane, Maguire.
No. But Kane, I'm saying Kane's not playing. Maguire's not playing.
Oh, is it confirmed? Is it confirmed? I haven't seen it.
I'm thinking that. I'm
Bruv.
not saying he's going to be made captain, but I'm just saying, what if, right? Kane and Maguire not playing, and he gives it to Mount. What does that tell you? And
Bro,
Henderson's
this is the
definitely
problem I
not
have with
playing.
Chelsea fans, bro. Our memories are very short when it comes to stuff like this. Remember
What?
when we lost 6-0 to Man City? Who was the only player that went to the fans that game? Who was the only player? It was Tony Rudiger, no?
Yeah.
Who was the player that rejected a move from Spurs because how much he loved the club and because of Lampard that was happening? It was Tony Rudiger. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why
He's
players
not-
like Mason
he's
Mount
not-
are coming
he's
in.
not captain worthy, bro.
No,
he
no,
wanted
he definitely
out.
is.
He
How
wanted
is
to
he
leave the
not?
How
club,
is he not?
man. He wanted
how
to
is he
leave the
not?
club.
When,
He
no,
wasn't
he
happy,
said
he wasn't getting game
he
time,
said
he wanted to
he wasn't
leave.
going to Tottenham. It was because
Anyone
of your
who
guy
wants to
Lampard
leave
that was
Chelsea
happening,
Football
bro.
Club and doesn't want
Bro.
to fight for their place, you
Bro.
know where the door is.
Bro, it was because of your guy Lampard that was happening. The
It
same
don't
way for
matter,
Kaya
bruv.
Tomori.
If Lampard
Same way for
didn't
Kaya
want him-
Tomori. He's
if
playing
Lampard
at
didn't
the
want
Aston
to play
Villa right
him,
now.
there's a reason for not playing him.
Come
alright?
on, bro.
He
Bro,
made so
bro.
many mistakes last season. I don't
Bro.
want to hear it. Rudiger's not a lead. He's showing it now. He's showing great qualities now, and he's doing it. But he still scored that own goal, bruv.
Oh,
Out
so
of the
so
two
judging
goals we
off one performance.
conceded, he scored that own goal. He still got
I
a
don't think
mistake
you
in
watched
him.
that game. He had a decent game that game as well.
Yeah,
So,
he
let's-
rejuvenated himself. I ain't gonna lie.
Is that not
But he
what captains
still
do?
made the mistake, and he's
Is
a
that not what
captain.
captains do? Is that not what captains do? Overcome adversity. Is that not what captains
Yes,
do?
but he's not a captain,
He
bruv.
definitely is, bro.
No,
he
he
definitely is.
Well, you ain't
He
gonna
is.
see it at Chelsea, mate. Go and follow Rudiger wherever he goes, mate. Go and follow him when he goes to Bayern Munich and support him there.
Nah,
No, I
man.
can't.
Bro,
Nah,
Rudiger,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
I wanted it since 20. Nah, I didn't want it since 2018-19, but from 2018-19, yeah, he showed leadership qualities, bro. and you
Asby's
can't-
my captain.
Like, Rudiger
Asby
last
and
season
Thiago
wasn't
Silva
good,
are
but-
the two leaders in our team. They are the top ball captains. Rudiger doesn't even come there with these two. Doesn't come close.
at all. Not even.
I'm not saying that,
10%.
bro.
No,
Obviously,
I'm
we
saying
got our three
no.
captains.
I
No,
agree,
he
but
shows
Rudiger-
leadership without being a captain, and I like that. I
No,
like
but
that.
Rudiger over Mount though. At this point in time is what we're trying to say.
Can
Yeah,
I
that's
just
what I'm
make a
saying as
point
well.
about clearing up these Rudiger quotes? Because I've got
Yeah,
them
Go,
right here.
go ahead, man.
What he said was, I was close to leaving. There were two teams I considered. Maybe one was PSG and the other was Mourinho, so obviously Tottenham. I had a chat with Lampard and then I was back on the bench and then I chose Chelsea. So it was only that he had a chat with Lampard to consider where he is, how much of game time he's going to play. He did consider Tottenham. If you are that, if to be a Chelsea captain, you can't consider Tottenham. That is no matter
No
what.
loyalty there, man.
Especially
He
if
wasn't
Tottenham was
gonna
his
go.
only option,
He
then
wasn't gonna
fine,
go,
maybe that'd be
bro.
all right. If
Bro,
you've
you
got
gotta consider it.
PSG,
Look, he's not from.
Oh, this
he's
is
not.
bullshit. The same
Bro, you
Tottenham
gotta
fans that
remember
racially
everything
abused him at the
surrounding
stadium
this,
you go
bro.
to.
what?
He probably wants to stay in London, and he's not getting played. And he's 26. Mount is 22.
I don't
think
care. You
Rudiger's
don't go
what,
to your.
26,
You don't go to
27.
White Hart Lane,
That,
mate.
that would be fine. If
Don't go
Tottenham
to
was the only
Spurs.
club coming in, then that would be fine. If you wanted to go,
But he
to,
personally
you've got
rejected it. He said he was close to going. He considered. Obviously, he would consider it
Yeah, but
because
you
he
don't
probably wants to stay
consider
with London and his family.
Stop.
But he didn't.
You shouldn't-
personally
Matt, you get offers in general, bro. Like you have to reject
No, but
it.
he
at
said
the
he
end of
was
the day.
close. He said he.
No, but he was
discussed it
pissed
quite
at
a lot.
Chelsea. Obviously, he's been left out.
Yeah,
I
so
don't care
why
if he
would we
pissed at
make him
Chelsea.
captain, Sadiq? Is my point. He's not captain material. Can we move on? It's just pointless argument.
How is he not
He
captain
shows,
material,
he
bro?
shows leadership quality, all right, as a player, and rightly so. As a player, you want leaders. You want leaders in your team, and I love it. But he's not captain. He's not a captain. He's not an
Okay, so-
Azpin. He's not a Thiago.
So what makes Jorginho captain? Because Jorginho is one of the
Jorginho's
biggest.
very vocal on the pitch. Very vocal if you
and
watch
and
him.
and,
And he
and he's one of
dictates
the
the
biggest.
play.
And he's
He
one of the
deserves to be
biggest.
vice captain, Jorginho.
No, but hear what? But he's one of the biggest. He's one of the biggest personalities in the dressing room. So Rudiger is number one.
You can
and
be
number two.
you can be one of the most biggest personalities in dressing. Diego Costa was the biggest personality in the dressing room. Does that mean he's got to be
I
captain?
don't think he
Does
was.
that mean he's got to be
I
captain?
don't
No, it
think he
doesn't.
was. I don't think he was.
You have
But I
players like
think-
that in your side that do what they do on the pitch, but it doesn't mean they have to have the bloody armband on them. There are other players that offer you quite different attributes being a captain, not just showing grit and get a bit of welly on the pitch. It's about game intelligence as well. And
So how does
game
Mason Mount become a
management in the
captain based
game,
on that
all
point?
right?
So how does Mason Mount become captain based on the points that you've just said?
Bruv,
Because
he's
if you're
got
talking about
all
putting
the
up your
he's
boots
got
and the
all the
wellies and the
minerals and
pump-
it's all experience for him. It was a fucking FA Cup game, bruv. It
But
was an
then- no,
FA
but-
Cup game. He was made captain. Both of them. They're not Premier League, Champions League games. He was made captain. What's the problem with that? Why
No,
can't
but-
you accept that?
Now, but
Why
Mason's not a better captain than Rudiger, and we can just
Oh
say that
my
now
God.
based on what he's won,
This guy,
what he's
man.
won in his career,
Sorry, man.
his experience,
I can't, bruv. I can't.
his
I can't.
longevity at the club.
You got
At
no
this point in
substance,
time-
man. I'm sorry.
At this point in time, you
Stupid
can't say
argument.
that. You can't say that. Just
Guys,
because it
guys,
doesn't suit your
I've
narrative.
just told
Just
you
because
why
it
I
doesn't
would
suit your
never have
narrative, it doesn't
Rudiger.
mean it's not the facts.
I'd never have Rudiger. He wanted to leave.
6-0, bro. 6-0 against City. Who's the only guy that went? Who's the only guy that
Why?
went to the fans? Who's the only guy that
Why
went
did
to
I
the
make
fans?
him
Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's
captain,
calm down. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Why would I make the guy captain who wants to leave my club?
I'm loving this, bruv. Go on.
Let's calm.
Ridiculous.
No, let's stop. Father, man, what do you think? Mason Mount captain?
No, skip, man. Skip it. I'm just here, just eating popcorn, just enjoying this.
Give us your opinion, man. Do you think Mason Mount's good enough to be captain, bro?
It could be, but I just think again, and probably I would say like maybe in the future, maybe in 2 years' time, could be that future leader. I wouldn't say like I think now he's got the prospect to do it, but on a longer term, like maybe in 2 years or 3 years' time, that he could be that sort of leader that can emulate the likes of John Terry or Lampard.
No, guys, I didn't mean for this definitely to get this heated. I didn't expect.
That's all right, man. Dude, this is fun. Honestly, this is I'm enjoying this. I'm eating my.
Yeah, you enjoy it, but I'm not enjoying it, bro. Calm down,
But
man.
bro, but that's my point though. What I'm saying is, Mason Mount being the captain in years to come is not really an issue. But at this moment of time, while we still have senior players at the club, he shouldn't be a captain over these players. That's my point.
Sheffield United, Rudiger didn't play, did he? Thiago Silva didn't play, did he? Azpiliecueta didn't play. Jorginho didn't play. Mount's captain. All right. Are you happy now? Does that make you feel better?
No, but we've just outlined the hierarchy of the club, and that Mason Mount is fourth, even when Rudiger does play. So that's our problem.
Rudiger
here.
would never get it, bruv. He would never be captain, bruv. He would not be a captain for Chelsea Football Club. What do you not understand with that?
Tuchel might like him, man. Tuchel might like him. Change
He
man to
likes
me.
him, yeah, he likes him and he plays him. Cool, and he does his job great, but it doesn't mean he's going to get the captain armband. And to be honest with you, let's see it happen, mate. Let's see Rudiger and Mount in the only ones in the team, and let's see who Tuchel gives the captaincy to.
Yeah, it's
But he's
true.
not. We haven't got that.
True.
We haven't got that to have a discussion. It's a pointless argument. And the bottom line is, Mount's been made captain twice. Rudiger ain't been made captain once. So that's all you've got to know.
Okay, so guys, listen, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, 100%. I just want to talk about whether he's been our most consistent attacker, because I think probably he has been. But I want to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions. We'll start
Later
with
this season,
Ryan. Yeah, this season,
Okay,
definitely. Ryan, what do you think this season? No, frozen. It looks like it's frozen. Yeah, it looks frozen. Matt, we'll start with you, man.
Yeah, I think this season by far he's been our most consistent attacker throughout. I think his creativity, while it has lacked at times in certain little moments, it has been by far the best in the Chelsea team. But I think the one thing we've got to consider is the fact that it's Mason Mount that is by far doing the best. As we've mentioned, he's not at that level that he is prime in his technical and attacking ability. that is a problem for every other attacker that we have mentioned in this side that haven't, for one reason or another, been consistent this season. I think overall in the attack, yes, Mount's been the most consistent, and I praise him for that, but we need the other attackers to step up, get at least the Mount level and better, because I think other players can and should be with Mount at his age. He shouldn't be the one carrying the team attackingly in the attacking area, especially at his age. Eventually he can grow to that, but people like Werner, people like Havertz, people like Ziyech, Pulisic should be carrying this team in terms of the attacking third, not Mason Mount. Mason Mount is doing it, and I'm proud that he's doing it, and he's showing that he is potentially the player of the year and probably one of the only options you can pick. But it's just frustrating to see that other people are not being at the same consistency that Mount is at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I think Mount definitely has been our most consistent, man. Because what do you think, man? Most Mount?
Yeah, let me just clear up some of the rumors, because there's a lot of Mason Mount fanboys in the chat getting butthurt. So let me just say now, you lot, I've just said I respect what Mason's doing, and I do agree that he's a good player, but I don't want to overhype him in the sense that you guys like to do. It's fair to give him his credit, and that's what I want to do. I want to give him his credit, and he might potentially be a player of the season. So going on to that,
by far he's player of the season.
I want to contest that point, because for me, I think Edouard Mendy should get it.
No, man.
And
that's down to the defense.
based off two factors. Arguably, some of our best wins have come with Mason Mount not in the team. So we don't really see.
Yeah, they love to drop this one.
It's facts. It's facts, bro. We can have some puff and cry all day, but at the end of the day, it's facts, bro.
It's not.
I'm playing devil's
man.
advocate here. It's facts.
It's not facts, man.
The team doesn't really miss Mason Mount.
I'm going to go around this again. The Atletico. You're going to bring up the Atletico game, obviously.
Bro, let me just finish my point quickly. But you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, our team doesn't really miss Mason Mount when he doesn't play, which is why I'm going to say he might not be our player of the season. But the reason why I'm going to say it's Edouard Mendy for me is because he saved us from multiple times. He's been a standout player multiple times in our team. And when Mendy's not in the team, we feel the repercussions 150%.
Well, Kepa's had 3 clean sheets when he's not played.
Oh, didn't he concede against? What was the team he conceded against? Was it Morecambe?
Why do we feel the repercussions? Have we lost the game? We haven't lost the games that he's played.
Was it Morecambe? I can't remember. What was the team that we conceded against? When it was him and Zuma.
You conceded one, yeah. I think.
What
I'm saying is the defense is credit to defense, because Kepa hasn't conceded. He's our worst goalkeeper. What does that tell you about defense? When Mendy's not having to make saves, right? Okay. Then of course he's gonna have a clean sheet, bruv.
Bro, you tell me if you feel Mendy.
You give Mendy a player of the season. I can't understand that, mate. Understand it.
Bro,
that's crazy.
We can talk about stats. We can talk about eye test. He has the second most clean sheets in the league. Oh, so he didn't save us against Man United and played them away.
If you take Mount out of certain games, right? You don't have those 3 points. You don't have 3 points. You don't win games. So what? Because Mendy's in goal, we're going to get the 3 points all the time.
No, but what I'm saying is, when Mason doesn't play, we don't miss him. When Mendy doesn't play, we don't miss him.
We've got an amazing squad. Why should we miss him? He's a 22-year-old kid. Why should we miss him?
So
what's your point?
That's what I'm saying. The player of the season is the most valuable player. The most valuable player. So if your most valuable player doesn't play,
he's not our most valuable player.
The
He's
MVP,
not our most valuable player.
Just quickly,
Mendy,
guys. Just quickly, guys. Top 3, I'd definitely say it has to be between.
Ridiculous, bruv. You just don't want to give it to Mount. You're just a Mount hater.
How am I a Mount hater? Sadiq,
you are, bro.
Hold on.
Every Chelsea fan I speak to is clear as day. Mount's player of the year. Clear as day, bruv.
Did I not just say I wouldn't be against it if it went to Mount? I'm just saying. You can't count out Edouard Mendy, and for me,
this is what I mean, bro. You might as well say Thiago Silva.
This is what I mean.
You might as well say Thiago Silva to me.
Guys, just quickly. Let
me finish my point quickly. Stick 1 second, Sadiq. Yeah. Did I not just say at the start of the stream? There's no in between with Chelsea fans. There's always these Mount nut huggers, and on the other side, there's Mason Mount.
You're trying to make me say, okay, yeah, I'm going to say Mendy.
There's Mason Mount haters.
I'm not going to say Mendy. No way.
That's what I'm saying, bro. There's no in between with Chelsea
Crazy.
fans.
Why would I
If
say
I'm here
Mendy?
trying to say Edouard Mendy is my player of the season, then I won't be against going into
That's
Mason
terrible
Mount.
to say.
I'm
Your player of the
the
year
bad
is a
guy.
flipping
I'm the
goalie,
bad
bruv.
guy. I'm the bad guy. So it doesn't make sense. A lot of you
No,
fans need to
because
take away this tribalism and speak about
you're
this
being very
objectively.
stupid, man.
It's not.
Very
We're not being.
stupid.
I'm not
To
You're
being
be fair
stupid.
though,
choosing.
yeah. To
I'm
be
not
fair,
being
to be
stupid.
fair, I listen. To be fair, yeah, Mount's played the most, and that's why people will probably give it to him in it.
Oh, this is
But
bullshit.
But
I'm
you
not
can't
going to stay
overrate
on for
Mount,
too
bro.
long,
all
man.
I'm saying
I
is, yeah,
ain't got energy for this.
bro. If it gets like, obviously it definitely won't be given to Mendy. We all accept that it's gonna go to Mason Mount. He's the homegrown player. Obviously he's played like pretty much every game, so it's gonna go to him. But people say Mendy, you want Mendy to get. That's a calm opinion for me. You
That's
get
what I'm
me? Like
saying.
he's
And I'm being criticized for
he's
this
played
point.
every game. He's played most games apart from the start of the season. I think he saved us against. If it wasn't for him against Leicester, we probably would have been embarrassed 4 or 5
United as
0.
well.
We would have
Leeds.
lost the United game. There was what's it called?
So let's stop
I
being
need.
biased now, bro.
It's not
Yeah, and
like
if it wasn't for the Liverpool game, we wouldn't have won it because Mount scored. If it wasn't for the Fulham game, we wouldn't have
how
won
do you know
it.
it's in
If
the
it
but
wasn't
that's
for
my
all
point.
the other games
my
in the
point, bro.
Premiership, we
I'm
wouldn't
not
have won the game.
That's my
wait,
point,
Don't
bro.
give me
I'm
those
saying.
shit excuses,
No,
man.
but bruv, listen. Use your ears
When he's
forward,
got
bro.
an
What I'm trying
amazing
to say,
defence in front of
what I'm
him
trying to
right
say,
now,
bruv,
what do you
Guys,
expect?
listen,
man?
open up your
let
ears
me say
forward.
something because
What I'm
I
trying
was
to
pulled
say
off
is,
last time.
bro,
Let me say something quickly. Let me
Pointless.
say something quickly. Mendy has saved points. Mount has 1 point. Both of them have done really, really
exactly.
good.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
but
Mount,
let me just
Johnny's
finish.
not taking that
He's
point.
a midfielder, bruv. He's
Come
pivotal
on,
to the way
man.
Chelsea Football Club play. What do you not understand
keep
about
going,
that?
bro. Keep
Mendy's not in the
going.
middle of the pitch, is he?
Johnny, just very quickly.
Yeah.
Top three. I just want to make it clear: Mount, Mendy, and Silva. Yeah, before he got injured, of course. Yeah, but listen, the thing about Mendy was we've drawn a couple games, but we haven't been scoring some games as well. And Mendy has kept us in some of these games as well, bro. So we have to give the guy praise as well, as well as Mount.
He's been fantastic. Mendy's been fantastic. And we don't really need to go and look at buying another keeper. Personally, we don't need another keeper. But that doesn't warrant me giving him player of the year because I look at everything. I don't just look at he saved us a few games here
Yep.
and he's got clean sheets. Fair play to him. That's his job, mate. He's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, but
when
I
I
just
look
say
when I look at our final third's been so poor, and we've had COVID, and we've had injuries, and we've had to play Mount in different positions, and we've won games, and we're where we are. I look at all these things, and who's pivotal, who's in the central midfield, who's progressing the ball, who's making things happen, who's pressing on the pitch.
bro,
You know
I
what
get you.
That's
But there's
Mount,
also
bro.
one more thing. Bro. But before Mendy came in, we'll concede left, right, centre, bro. We have
Of course
to
we were,
have that in
yeah.
mind.
But our defense wasn't as good as it is now, and we can all agree.
What? Just Thiago Silva makes that one big change? Is that what you're telling me?
No. Since Tuchel's come in, whether
We
you
argued,
put
to be fair,
whether you have
yeah.
Thiago Silva, Rudiger, Zuma,
But at Lampard, he had
Christensen,
clean sheets as well, bro. At Lampard, he had clean
Exactly.
sheets.
yeah, I know he did, but we were still frail at the back. We
Look,
were still
Johnny, if
frail.
I really want to defend Mendy, he's coming into a new league. I know he's a goalkeeper, but he's coming into a new league. He don't speak fluent English. He's got a whole new back line with him as well. And he's got a little bit of pressure on him because, the other goalkeeper was so bad. So if I really want to defend Mendy, he's got them circumstances as
Ryan,
well.
you said to me when I asked you this question, you said Thiago Silva, when he's played 17 games, is your player of the season. And now
I'm
you're
not
telling
saying
me
he's my player of the
No,
season.
you
I
said
never
it.
said Mendy
You
was my
said it
player of
on
the season.
Yes, you said Thiago Silva is your player of the season when he's played
Yeah.
17 games.
Yeah, he still is. He still is my player of the season. I'm
There
not
you
saying
go.
he's not, but you're saying that because
Whatever.
it's stupid for saying
I'm not
Mendy's
gonna
my player.
gonna
Bro,
argue.
we can't do this.
I'm just
Bro, we
saying
can't do
that's
this.
not a stupid opinion.
Bro,
That's
we
what I'm
can't do
saying.
this with our section of the fan base because I've literally just said there's no in ands or betweens with these Chelsea fans. It's either
You've just gone
Mason Mount is the
Mendy.
player of
Well,
the season.
give me your order then.
It's
Give me your order. Give me your
I've just said I wouldn't be against if it went to Mason Mount.
No.
I've clearly
Give me your
given him his
order of
credit.
you, not.
But you don't want to give Mendy's credit. That's the problem between us
I've
two.
given Mendy loads of credit, mate. But I'm asking you, put your like Sadiq did. He put his order. Put your order, mate.
What, top three?
Yeah.
I'd go Mendy, Mount, Silva.
There you go. That answers my question, bruv, and rests my case.
Is that not a sound list? No.
That's all I need to hear. I don't want to. I know.
It's not a sound list, no.
You know what my opinion is, mate. That's it.
Look, Johnny, I never said Mendy was my player this season. Kazilla said Mendy was his player this season, and you got at him and saying that was stupid and everything. I was just like, if you say Mendy's your player this season, It's a calm opinion. That's not like saying.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying,
know,
bro.
Timo
There's
Werner's your
no
player
in
of the
Go
betweens
for
with
it.
these Mount
Go for it.
fanboys.
Like,
Yeah,
cool.
you can't.
That's your opinion. Let's move on. Like, I've heard it. You keep going on about it. Go, let's move on, man.
Matt,
You said
Let's
Mendy's
move
your
on, man.
keeper, your player of the year. Cool, bro. Okay.
Matt, your top three, bro.
Well, I think it's hard not to give it to Mount. I think for me, Mount's on top by far. I think you've got the honourable mentions of Thiago Silva, who I think would be a lot closer to it had he played a bit more games and didn't get injured. And then Edouard Mendy, you've got to put him as in the honourable mentions. But I don't think I think you can't not give it to Mount this season, how consistent he's been throughout the whole season. And then again, I get the point. Mendy's got a lot of clean sheets, adapted to a new league. This is why he's in the honourable mentions.
From Kepa, bro.
But yeah, I get everything you're saying about Mendy. But again, it's the fact that the area we've struggled most on the pitch this season, even in the Lampard days, was scoring goals, creating goals. And Mount, single-handedly this season, has been the only player to consistently try and give us goals on this pitch. And that's why
I don't disagree with that.
he's been the most consistent player throughout the whole season, along with Mendy and Thiago Silva, and that's why they're named in the squad. But I think Mount has deserved it this season. It's not a... Obviously, you've got a couple of people that really rate Mason Mount that will obviously give him it anyway. But there's a lot of... I think Johnny's speaking a lot of facts here. I think Mason Mount deserves it, and I think it's probably one of the easiest player of the years we've ever had to give at the moment. Because, again, Thiago Silva's injury...
A couple months ago, everyone's saying Thiago Silva, though. I'm so confused.
Yeah, but I think Thiago Silva would be a lot closer if it wasn't for his injury, but it's hard to
I think Thiago Silva would be clear if it wasn't for.
It's hard.
I wouldn't say
He would
clear.
definitely be clear. For me, if Thiago Silva didn't get that injury, he'd be clear of Mason Mount.
It'd be very close. But I'm not saying it's clear.
Bro,
It's not
it
clear.
would not be a debate. I'm telling you right now, if Thiago Silva didn't miss the games and he played the same amount of games that Mount did, it would not be a debate. That's what I'm saying, man.
To be fair, right, man, all the defense have come in and done well at the same time, man. Like Christensen, Rudiger, they've all done really, really good.
Spells you can't.
Yeah, that's under Tuchel. I think Tuchel's brought a great structure into the team, and we've seen literally every defender, even Emerson, playing left centre back, and we still look very solid in defence. But I'm still going back to the Lampard days as well, and like I haven't seen a leader like that for a long time from Thiago Silva, and I feel like it's not like the last ditch tackles you see from Thiago Silva. It's like a lot of the times last ditch tackles and running back and the last ditch tackles we love to see Zuma doing stuff. A lot of the time it's because sometimes they might be out of position, the ball gets flicked over their head, they have to use their pace and strength to get the ball off people. When it happens with Thiago Silva, he can just step out, read the game and what's it called? And just move it on like that. So that's why I would still give it to Thiago Silva, because I feel like the influence he's brought on the team has been immense. And I think I get why people won't give it to him, because he has missed most of the games under Tuchel when he did
40% of the games.
Huh?
He's missed 40% of the games. I think that's a big thing of why you struggle. As obviously, again, it's not his fault that he's missed.
In the games he has played, I feel like he's just been immense. Yeah, I'm not going off the games he's played.
But no disrespect, he's a world-class centre-back. He's generational centre-back. Of course he's going to be a fantastic player for us, but he hasn't played the games, and that's the bottom line.
It doesn't matter about it. Obviously, it matters about how many games you play, but you can't just give it to someone because they played this amount of games. Like, come on, I feel like, what's his name?
Yeah, but I don't think Thiago Silva's played enough.
Yeah, I hear that as well.
That's why. Like, if Thiago Silva didn't get injured, and let's be honest, he probably would have played quite a lot during the spell of Man United, Everton, Liverpool, etc. Yeah. If he played through all them, played really well, he'd be a lot closer to Mount. I would say it's. I'd still say Mount edges it, but it's very close. But just because he's the fact that he has missed realistically 40% of games.
40%, yeah.
Look at the age of Mount. The guy's a 21-year-old, 22-year-old.
But come on now, it's like...
Respect, man.
How many games are left?
There's
about
9 games in the league, I think. And then
with all the Champions League, if we go all the way in the Champions League, we'll probably be like...
So it's 5 games Champions League.
Yeah, so about 12, 15.
2 games in the FA Cup, so that's about 17, 18 games, I'd say.
Yeah,
Or
it's gonna be
16.
interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see.
But
throughout
let's
the
just all
season.
agree, Mount will get it anyways. I can't even lie. Like, Kazilla knows it, I know it. Everyone on the
When
panel
Mount
knows it.
scores
Whether we think
some
Mount
juicy
should get
goals in
it,
Champions
he's
League
gonna
or
get
wins
it
us
anyways.
it, we can all put some more respect on his name because he deserves.
No,
he
I
deserves
know he's gonna
respect
get it. I've
anyway.
accepted it. Kazilla's probably accepted it
I have,
as
bro.
well, though I don't want to speak for it. Like we know that Mount is gonna get it. He's homegrown. He's played most of the games, and he comes from the academy and stuff. Of course, he's gonna get it. And if he does, bro, it's player of the season. Player of the
Lampard made him
season ain't
captain
gonna
before
win
he
us
was going to get
trophies.
sacked.
It's
So-
player of the season.
Everyone that's been listed have been good, man. So we just got to see out the remaining games for sure, man. I'm not
Mount's
gonna
getting
lie,
it, man.
we've been gone over an hour and a half. I am gonna be ending the stream now. It's been a while. First of all, Johnny, I want to thank you on for coming on, bro.
Yeah, no,
I know
thank
you've
you
been
for
busy.
having me, man. Thank you for having me, and then big up everyone, subscribe, like, all that jazz, and
Love, man.
yeah,
Thanks for
big up
that.
Sadiq, bro.
Thanks for that, man. And Kazilla, man, as always, thanks for coming on, bro.
No problem, bro. Yeah, nah, I just want to end it on as much as this got debated and whatnot and it got heated and whatnot. Respect to Johnny in it, like
No, respect to you, man.
it's all debate at the end of the day, and
It's
it's all
one
we need in our
debate,
family.
we
You
don't
It's
know what I'm
not
saying?
personal, bruv. It's
Yeah,
just
no, that's what
emotion
I'm
on
saying.
football. Yeah,
100%, and it gets like that. So, yeah, man,
Yeah.
big up to everyone in the comments as well. Make sure you guys like the video.
Love that, man. Matt, thanks for coming as always, bro.
Yeah, pleasure to be on. Pleasure to be on with Johnny for the first time. Hopefully, he'll be on for many more to come.
yeah, nice one, Matt.
Always brings fireworks to every debate that he's on. You've got to love it. Yeah, big up to Godzilla, Ryan, Father for a short period of time, and big up to you as well. Everyone, smash the like button, subscribe, join the membership if you can. Let's get this channel to 20k.
Definitely. Ryan, man, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, no
Big up,
problem.
man.
It's always good to be on and that, and especially with Johnny as well, because a lot of the times you're always just agreeing with people, but Johnny just brings in something different and just brings out the debating skills of you, like debating club at school, fam. It's mad. So yeah, big up Johnny, big up everyone on the panel, and big up everyone in the comments as well. Who's tuned in.
I did say special guest, man. I did say special guest, and I'm sure it's been delivered, man. Father, thanks for coming on late, man.
Yeah, always eating, man. Always
This
eating.
guy
bro.
always eats, fam.
Eating
Always
and
eats.
sleeping. You fell asleep on my MySpace, bro. What's going on, man? I could hear you snoring. You were snoring on my MySpace, mate. I had to take you out. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Who's sleeping?" I said, "That's Fatty, man."
No.
Yeah.
Just quickly, $5 donation. Take this fire. You'll need this drink off this a bit. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably watch it again. It was quite fun. I enjoyed it. As a host as well. It was difficult.
The popcorn's out for $2.99 in your store. You can get
Yeah.
You should go and watch Monsters one before this. My God.
I need to watch Monsters for sure. The more candidates, the better the squad performance. in my
Oh, mate.
Kazi versus Johnny is
Kazi
fam,
wasn't
that
even
should be
on.
pay per view, fam. It's mad.
Kazi wasn't even on this one, and it was ridiculous.
Mate.
Who was talking in this one?
Well, we had Lewis on. Lewis is cool, man. Lewis, like, he just chills in the background, like, but
You see what Lewis does. You see what Lewis does. He doesn't want to get into heated arguments.
Yeah.
So when what's his name, Johnny brought out that thing about Paul Scholes and he's speaking about Roy Keane, how he said he's speaking about Roy Keane saying Mount's like Paul Scholes and stuff, and everyone was going into outrage. Lewis just went there, edited the pic, and it was like Mount is better than Paul Scholes, and then his display name was Mount is better than Paul Scholes and stuff, and then he just rocked with it. So yeah, Lewis is funny like that, man.
Yeah. We had Kai on there from KH No Filter Football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. so me and him, we got into it. We had a bit of jazz. Andrew as well, who's on the Winter Stuff, who's hosts his channel, and who else was on there? I got my guy Daniel. Like all the regular panel were there, and then we got the people that come in from the chat and that, and man. Oh, also come and join the MM19 Hive. It's popping. It's love. It's hate free. It's all hate free. It's all love. Yeah, it's all love.
Love, man. Guys, thanks for coming on. Keep liking the video, and we'll see you guys soon, man. Peace.
Yeah.